do not want to shed blood. We want to give life back to the earth.
Do you not understand that these woods are sacred?
What's happening here, soldier?
These islanders want to enter a plot of land that belongs to the congregation.
They are denying us access to the glade.
We must heal it. Otherwise, this land will die.
I am sorry, but we cannot let you enter this area.
But we only want to plant some new trees. Bring life back.
These people are fanatics, Your Excellency. Several woodcutters died last night, and I'm willing to bet that these savages had a hand in it.
You are killing the earth, so it kills you in return. All of you are cursed.
Shut it, you savage!
De Sardet, I'm the legate of the merchant congregation on this island. I came to shed light on this affair. You said that some woodcutters died.
Aye, they fell sick and died a few hours later. But the camp doctor will be able to tell you more about it. You'll find him in the barracks right here.
Thank you, soldier. I'll go see him.
Please, Your Excellency, you may come in.
Hello, Doctor. I am the legate of the congregation. I was told about the disputes caused by this camp, and a soldier told me that several woodcutters died recently.
Yes. They got sick yesterday afternoon, and a few hours later they were dead. I couldn't do anything except watch them writhing in pain. None of my remedies worked. If seeing corpses doesn't bother you, you can come and see the bodies. They're here. I hope that whatever killed them is not contagious.
These poor woodcutters look like they've suffered. This one has a swollen tongue. Blood at the corner of the mouth. There are some peculiar red patches on the bodies. His eyes are bloodshot. This man choked to death. Strong smell of ammonia. The entrails must have been perforated.
The appearance of these bodies and the smell emanating from their mouths leaves me in no doubt. They were poisoned. That this doctor could have believed that this was simply an illness is beyond me.
I can't see anything else of interest.
So, what do you think? Do you recognize their disease?
They didn't die of disease. They were poisoned. There's no doubt about it.
You're probably right. But I've heard these savages talking so much about curses. So I thought it must be a mysterious disease, rather than seeing what was before my eyes. But how could these three men be poisoned?
Did they drink anything in particular?
They like to drink their fills in the evening. Life is dreary here. But if the poison was in the alcohol, I'd also be on the pile of corpses.
What did they eat yesterday? Did they eat any mushrooms?
No, we avoid that kind of thing. We don't know enough about the region's plant life. The congregation provides us with dry produce, otherwise we eat game. Yesterday they butchered a beast brought by the hunters.
Hunters?
Natives who bring us game regularly in exchange for knickknacks. But they've been restocking us for months. I struggle to believe that they're involved.
Well, we'll see what they have to say. Where can I find them?
They usually hunt on the edge of the wood that leads to this camp.
To my help! And death to the others! Atoi! This is our prey, Rendaikse. How can we earn our reward if you hunt our prey?
We were looking for you.
Us? What do you want from us?
3 woodcutters were poisoned yesterday after eating what you brought them.
Poison? I swear we are not responsible for this.
Listen, all the clues lead to you, but it may simply have been an accident. How about you tell me exactly what happened?
It wasn't really an accident, but we did not want to kill them either.
Then tell me how it happened.
We did not decide to do this. We were trading beautiful things with the camp. But the elder said that we would be traitors to our clan if we let the woodcutters cut down all the trees.
Which elder?
One of the old men from Vigigidor, our village. He is very angry because we cannot heal the glade. He gave us the meat of an andrig killed by a venomous dosentats. Its flesh is perfectly edible when prepared with certain berries, but without them, eating it would be lethal. And since the Renaigse invaded our forest, these berries are nowhere to be found. He wanted it to be a lesson for them, so that they may understand that their destruction brings death.
I will not hold you responsible, but from now on you will no longer bring meat to this camp. You are the instruments of a hateful old man's vengeance. And I'm under the impression that there will be even more deaths if I do not get to the root of this problem.
This old man is devious. The method he used was very original. But now people have died. The woodcutters will want vengeance, and things will only get worse.
This whole thing could turn into an open war. We cannot let that happen. Sir de Corsillon will be able to give some advice on how to solve this property conflict, without violence. Sir de Corsillon.
Desade, my young student, what can I do for you?
The mission you entrusted me with has made great progress.
Very well. Let's see. Good. You have traveled great distances, and the terra incognita will soon be but a distant memory. Keep doing what you're doing, Desade. Can your old professor still prove it?
I found no traces of Professor Seraphedin yet.
That's most regrettable. But keep looking for him, will you? You never know. Can your old professor...
I have come to find you because I received a complaint from the natives of the village of Vigigidor. They want to be able to access a clearing, exploited by our woodcutters, to heal it. To reforest it, I assume. But our men there say that it belongs to them, and are refusing to let the natives enter it. The site was supposedly ceded to them several months ago, but tensions are running high and some men have lost their lives. If we don't intervene, we're heading for a real confrontation.
It is very regrettable, and I approve of your desire to appease this conflict. According to what you have told me, if ever there was a contract, it must have been signed under our former governor. You should go to the archives and verify this. Then go and talk to Lady Laurine de Morange. And of course, I'll be delighted to help you once things have been clarified.
Thank you, Professor. Once more, you've been of great help.
Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
Looking forward to seeing you again, Sir de Corsillon.
day, dear sir. Happy to see you again in such fine health. How can I be of service?
I need you to enlighten me about the property deed of a glade near Vigigador. The natives want to access this place, which according to them is sacred, and which they would like to heal. But some of our men there are using this deed to deny them access to the area. Tensions are running high, and some people have died.
Yes, there was a time when we enacted a lot of contracts. Do you have the document with you?
Yes, here it is.
This cession agreement is only signed with a cross on the native side. Well, writing is foreign to them, as is the notion of land ownership. For them, the earth only belongs to itself.
If they did not possess these lands, how did they cede them?
I doubt they knew what this agreement represented, to be honest.
In that case, why make them sign it?
When we arrived on the island, we had to ensure our access to certain commodities. We also had to make sure that we had legal ownership of the lands we were occupying. The natives dreamed of possessing some baubles that they didn't know how to craft. It was easy to make them sign agreements that they didn't understand by giving them some. I was a stranger to their philosophy then. I only thought about my city, and I regret it.
I'm sure we can fix this mistake.
I hope so, Your Excellency. Come, let's find Sir de Corsilion. Can I help you with any other matter?
My lady, I have to go. Goodbye.
Sir de Corsilion, it's always a pleasure.
Madame, I expect you've come to see me about this regrettable problem concerning a clearing, which my student told me about.
Indeed. And I think I may have a solution that will allow us to solve this conflict peacefully.
I'm listening.
I must admit that I established this at a time when the culture and the mentality of the natives was foreign to me. The clan of this village was rather open to our presence. They welcomed us with benevolence. For this reason, I think we should allow them access to these lands. In doing so, we would appease the tensions, and we would also retain ownership of the wood. We would even benefit from such an agreement if the natives reforest this area. Then we could exploit it for a longer period of time.
I find this decision perfectly viable, and I approve. But several men were killed, and their comrades will seek vengeance if the person or persons responsible do not pay for their crimes.
I am convinced that Dunkus, the chief of this clan, never approved such an action.
I understand, but I will only write a decree allowing people to go to this clearing, provided the murderer is delivered to us.
Thank you, Master. I will inform Dunkus of your decision.
What brings you here on Almanawi?
At this old man's request, I investigated the conflict that opposes you and my nation regarding the clearing. You will now be able to access it freely, to accomplish your rituals or heal the area, and the congregation will keep exploiting the forest. However, there is one condition to this new agreement. You must deliver this man to us because he is responsible for the deaths of several woodcutters.
These men died because of their own foolishness. No one else is responsible for their deaths. If they hadn't cut all the oakerberry trees, they would have survived.
What does that mean? What are the two of you talking about?
3 woodcutters died after eating the meat of an andrig after it was killed by a venomous Dawson tat.
It's nothing but a terrible coincidence. And if they had eaten the oakerberries...
We know that you are responsible for this. The hunters told me everything.
How could you do this? You acted more foolishly than an irascible adolescent. By killing these men, you have brought upon us their wrath. And it is only natural that they should ask for justice.
Dunkus, I beg you. I only wanted the Renoixe to understand the value of the trees they were cutting.
Bloodshed only leads to more bloodshed. And you know that. I would never have thought you capable of doing something so foolish.
If you want to stop the woodcutters taking vengeance into their own hands, you must deliver this man to us.
I understand. But I have one condition before we make this agreement. The Lugaid Blau fooled us in the past. It is their turn to prove their good faith.
What do you want from us?
There is a mine in the forest that the congregation has long operated with help from my people. But digging into the mountain has risked it collapsing. We reinforced the earth with wood. We worked with the Lugaid Blau to save the mountain and the men. We agreed to stop digging and sealed the entrance with a boulder. But some Renaigse came back, and I think they started digging again. And some of my people started going missing. Perhaps because they had seen them break their promise. If the mountain collapses and it is your clan's fault, thousands of lives will be lost.
And you want me to intervene?
You have to stop them. Remind them of their promise. This is the price of my trust. If you do, we punish the person responsible for the death of the woodcutters, and all our quarrels will be gone.
I'll go to this mine and see what's going on.
Is there anything else?
I must leave. Goodbye, Dunkus.
Qua awalum seg.
Sorry, this is private property. I cannot allow you to enter.
Actually, no one should be able to enter. This mine is doomed. It's terribly dangerous.
I wouldn't know. Our employer, Mr. Maillard, is the owner. He's got all the deeds required. Listen, you should go to the authorities. They can confirm all the paperwork.
I definitely will.
People are reckless imbeciles if they start mining again in such a dangerous place.
They may not realize how dangerous this is. We should take a closer look.
We should take the path that overlooks the outer wall. We should be able to see inside from there.
Those reckless fools. They've resumed operations in the mine. Those chained natives are no doubt the ones Dunkus spoke about. They use them to operate the mine.
They've made them into slaves. We must talk to Sieur de Courcillon. I hope that our nation is not involved in this business. Sir de Corsilion.
Decidez, my young student, what can I do for you?
I've come to ask you about a mine near Vigigador. It was closed for a long time for security reasons, but someone has started exploiting it again.
I seem to recall that a concession in this area was sold to a Master Maillard. However, I do not recall the details of the contract. It was established by the previous government. He is a rich merchant from Serene who arrived on the island only a short while before we did. People say that he is unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous? That's an understatement. This man had some natives captured and he's using them as slaves to work in this mine.
What? Does this old brigand really think that he is above the law? We cannot tolerate such methods, but we must determine the best way to attack him. You should start by finding the deed to his property in the archives. Don't worry, we'll not let this man's behavior go unpunished. Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
Looking forward to seeing you again.
Are these documents written in a foreign language?
I get lost in all the legal jargon, but they have Lady Morange's seal on them. We should find her to understand exactly what they say.
Good day, dear sir. Happy...
I need your advice once more. This time it's about the property deeds of a plot of land and of a mine acquired by a certain Maillard. Here are the deeds. I must admit that I understand very little of what's written, but your seal is on it.
Do not worry. This type of document is always difficult to decipher for the uninitiated. However, they are very clear. Master Maillard is the owner of a plot of land located near Vigigador. He can exploit the forest and plant anything he wants there, but it says here that he does not have the right to exploit the mine. It's even repeated in this other paragraph. Any attempt at mining on this land is forbidden.
And yet the mine which was located on this plot of land has been reopened, and is being exploited as we speak.
According to these documents, the mine has been closed for security reasons. This man's behavior is reckless. You should go see him. He's presently in New Serene. He usually spends time at the port when he comes. He has some warehouses there.
Come closer, good people. The court Are your boots worn through? Is your hat out of style?
Master Maillard.
Who's asking?
De Sardet. I am the legate of the congregation.
Well, I'm flattered. What brings you here, Your Excellency?
I'm here to talk to you about the mine you have near Vigigador. Are you aware that you have no right to operate it? Nor are you allowed to employ slaves there.
But what are you talking about? Surely this is a misunderstanding. Listen, I'm sure there is a way for us to get along. I'm an honest merchant. I've always paid all taxes, and the small bonuses needed. Please tell your cousin that I would be happy to send him the gift of his choice. Now, Your Excellency, if you will allow me, I have to get back to my activities.
I'm afraid you don't understand, Master. It's not a money problem. That mine is dangerous, and you endanger the congregation on this island by behaving this way with the natives.
Come on, don't be so serious, young man. I'm sure it's nothing that a small bonus can't fix. Goodbye, sir. Best wishes to your cousin.
Sir de Corsilion.
Decidez, my young student. What can I do for you?
I verified the contract with Lady Morange. The exploitation of the mine is illegal, as we expected, without even taking into account what he's doing to the natives. I then went to meet Master Maillard.
So, what did he have to say in his defense?
He turned a deaf ear and tried to bribe me.
Oh, some of these merchants are so rich that they forget basic decency. But it's high time we reminded him of who is in charge of the congregation on this island. Here, this is an eviction notice which dispossesses him of all his land for breaching his contract. For his crimes against the natives, he's banished from this island. I will make him aware of this decision, but you should go to the mine immediately. The prisoners must be freed as soon as possible, and the mine closed once more.
I'll take care of it.
Can your old professor still prove himself useful?
Looking...
Sorry, this is private property. I cannot allow you to enter.
I don't need your authorization. I have here an eviction notice signed by the governor's ministers. The former owner, Mr. Maillard, has lost his rights due to a breach of contract.
Look, ultimately, we are not the ones who decide. We only obey the boss's orders.
In that case, where can I find him to notify him of his loss?
You'll find him around here somewhere, Your Excellency.
Excellent.
Are you looking for trouble?
Master Maillard, I'm so glad to find you here. Here is a document from Sir de Corsilion on behalf of my cousin. Considering the fact that you have not respected the terms of your contract of ownership, you are hereby expelled. The methods you used against the islanders has also ensured your banishment from Tier-Fredi.
Impossible. By what right? Guards, this man threatens me.
To my help! And death to the others!
Watch out! Grenade!
Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
These people were despicable. I'm pleased to have finished them off. Let's free these poor islanders and find Juncus.
Go without fear. You are free. And know that we are sorry for what happened to you.
We must believe that not all again blow or alike.
He is an Almanawi. That's what we understand. Thank you. We will not forget you.
What brings you here on Almanawi?
I was able to close the mine. The man who operated it was arrested and he will be banished.
Yes, those you freed told me. From now on, you are my Karants, my friend. You knew how to renew my trust in your clan. Just as trees grow back after being cut.
Thank you, Dunkus. I'm honored. Will you give us the old man now?
If you allow it, I would like to punish him myself. Enough blood has been spilled, and he will only call for more of it. Since he loved the forest to the point of killing for it, he will be sentenced to heal it. Every day he will replant what your men will cut down. Every day until the end of his life. Does this punishment seem acceptable to you?
If I explain to Sir de Corsillon that the man was sentenced to forced labor, I suppose he will approve. Thank you, Dunkus. It's a wise sentence.
Is there anything else?
I must leave. Goodbye, Dunkus.
Qua awalum seg.
You have returned. The rule.
Here is the seal of the Denegad Katasach, of the village of Wenchavier.
And so you are a trusted friend of the great healer. He must see your true face and find it worthy. Enter. You are welcome.
I give you warm greetings, Glendan. I am Disarday, legate of the Congregation of Merchants.
Your merchant congregation sways me very slightly from my path. But you are a Karants of Katasach. His trust in you makes me stop and look at you. What brings you here?
I seek a remedy. My cousin, as well as many other people on our island, suffer from a terrible sickness. We think that only Enon Miel Frictamen can help us find a cure.
Really? And Katasach sent you to see me?
He told me that the only way to meet with your god was to come and see you. You would judge our worthiness.
Judge your intentions? Yes, that I can do. But even if I should do this, you would have many trials to pass. For the path you seek to follow has only been tread but a very few times, and you are the first Renaigse to set foot upon it. We must begin where everything begins. There is a trial. The trial of water. It will show us the reflection of your soul.
What must I do?
You must go to a cavern and tell me what you see on the seal you will find deep in its center.
And this cavern is guarded, I suppose.
That is true. But the simplest solution is not always the best. It is a path with many forks. I hope you will prove that you understand the spirit of our people and our island. Go now. Show us your true face, and return purified by the waters of the cavern.
I must leave. Goodbye.
Qua awelam seg.
You have spoken to Glendan as you wanted. What more can I do for you?
I was asked to pass the trial of water. What do you know about it?
I have never passed it. Only those who must reveal their soul walk this path. The High Kings and Queens. It is a tremendous honor given to you, Renaigse.
Do you have any advice to give me?
I only know that the trial can be passed in many ways, and your choice will reveal the makings of your soul. One way is through strength, the other by ruse and heart. But I know no more than this. The trials are kept secret. Anything else?
Nothing else, thank you. I need to leave.
Good luck. And do not lose yourself in your own reflection.
Look, these beasts are feeding on that carcass. If only we could pour some sleeping potion on it.
I do not have a sleeping potion on me.
My help! And death to the others!
Watch out! Grenade!
Move away! Another one of those monstrosities.
Look at the basin and the symbols around it. Given the islanders' taste for rituals and enigmas, I think you should touch the water.
Either you've been taken with a fever, or you've had another vision. You're shaking like a leaf.
Yes. Once again, I was something else.
Oh, another story to understand and candles to light, I imagine. What did you see?
I was in the sky. I was floating, carried by the wind, and it was a cold feeling. I was high up, and it was getting colder and colder. I felt my blood freezing in my veins. I fell to the ground and spun slowly. And then the sun warmed me. Suddenly I bounced on the ground, and I was taken by the bubbling current of this creek. Then, just like before, the vision dissipated, and I was suddenly with you again. This stone is blackened, eaten away. I think it's supposed to evoke death. This stone bears the image of a storm, or perhaps the wind. On this stone, the sun is visible. The drawing on this stone makes me think of fire. I'm certain. This drawing looks like an infant. Could it represent life? Here this looks like a snowflake. The snow, or maybe ice? This stone is adorned with the etching of a drop of water. This must be the seal that Glendan spoke about. It looks like the silhouette of the mountain of Tir Fredi, and a face is drawn within it.
They're Tir to mad on Almanawi. I congratulate you for passing the trial. Enter.
And so you have returned. Can you tell me what the seal deep within the cavern brings into your mind?
A face in the mountain of Tir Fredi.
Then you have seen the true face of the island when looking into her waters. And the island has seen inside you. You have given the blood of the animals that protected the entrance to the passage. You have chosen strength a first time. In choosing the path of silence, you avoided confronting the Dosantats. Finally, you have completed the ritual. And in so doing, the Guardian recognized you as a wise man. You choose to trust the way of ruse and wisdom. It is a difficult path, but it carries generous fruits. The island has seen your intelligence and also your compassion. The friendship of Katasach towards you no longer surprises me.
Am I authorized to encounter Enormil Frichtemann now? To present him with my request?
If the High King agrees, yes. We shall not oppose that decision. Only a High King or High Queen is allowed to open the sanctuary. I warn you, your voyage is far from over.
I suppose that I'm going to need to convince them as well. Where can I find them?
I do not know. And I believe that it may be another trial on your path to find the one you seek.
Is he hiding? Has he been captured?
He disappeared several months ago. Since then, we have not heard from him. He was worried about the Renaigse. The last people to have seen him, I'm told, were the most important chiefs of the clans here at the council. There was Deirdre, Blatnid, Ulan, and Dunkas.
I fear that Queen Bladnid can no longer help us.
Yes, we have learned of her fate. Some battles cannot be won twice. Deirdre is the Mal of the clan of the Storm Warriors. You will find her in the village of Vedlug.
I've already met her. She sent me to confront a guardian.
That sounds like her. Ulan is the Mal of the village of Vignamri, near the coast. It is said that he welcomes the Renaigse. As for Dunkas, he leads the Vigigidor. He is the chief of the Earth Healers. His village is not very far from the Didekid and Nadages.
Very well. I will go and see them. Try to find this High King. Thank you, Glendan.
Kwa awalamsek. I hope that you will find him.
Lieutenant, I demand an explanation. Tell us what is going on. We haven't heard anything about Lord D'Orsay's condition in spite of our inquiries. We are extremely worried. And then, all of a sudden, one of his guards appears, shaken and on his own, though he is part of his retinue.
Please, allow me the chance to shed some light, my lady.
Your soldier is nothing more than a coward for abandoning his highness.
Tell me, what is going on?
This soldier has just reported in. He is asking for reinforcements. He believes that Lord D'Orsay has been attacked.
He believes? He ran here without full knowledge of what happened firsthand.
I was sent on patrol far from the camp, but I heard screams, from men and from beasts. I wanted to return to camp, but then I heard a deafening sound, grinding, like a landslide. I thought then it would be best just to go and get help.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You are dismissed. I would like to have a discussion with this man alone.
Yes, sir.
My lady, could you lead these fine people into the hallway, if you would be so kind?
Certainly. I deplore this embarrassing turn of events. But know that you have my full support in all circumstances.
In the interest of avoiding a general panic, tell me precisely what happened back there.
Your cousin ordered us to escort him beyond the town limits. The Islander convinced him to go on some journey.
By Islander, do you mean the Denegad that came to treat his affliction?
Yes. A strange bird. Missing more than one feather, you ask me, sir. I was ordered to set up patrol along a small path, rather far from the rest of the company. I was told to protect our perimeter from anyone wandering along. According to the Islander, it was the only access to their planned destination. I did my rounds for quite some time. Not a soul came along. But then I heard cries a ways off, and I went running to help. I heard an enormous crashing sound like an avalanche of rocks. So then I turned right back around.
And you ran all the way here? Do you know precisely where the company was when you heard these sounds?
No, not precisely. I hadn't gone there. But I could show you where I was posted. The Islander said they were following the path, but he was quite a ways ahead when I lost sight of them.
Why didn't you go and look for yourself? To see if they had been buried by a rock slide?
What? Alone? What could I have done? It seemed of greater urgency to go and get help.
I'm still having trouble deciding if cowardice or intelligence got the best of you. But that's a question for your superiors. My cousin was quite weak. Do you know why he decided to follow the Denegad?
His Highness was feeling much better. The potions that he was drinking must have been potent. I mean to show no disrespect to His Highness, but that Islander had the high ground in the War of Wits. I wasn't privy to their counsel. I haven't the beginning of an explanation for the expedition, but your cousin was all full of enthusiasm and ordered that we set out as quick as we could make ready.
That sounds like him. What sort of mess has he gotten himself into? Again?
I am sorry, sir, but I don't know anything else I could tell you.
Dismissed, soldier. Looks like I'm going on an expedition.
Thank you, sir.
To my help! And death to the others!
This is the camp that Constantine's escort must have established.
It wasn't a landslide that did this, but combat. A deadly one. I sure hope our little governor has escaped the carnage.
Search the zone. Let's see if we can find any clues as to what's happened here. The tents were lacerated by what looks like claws, and there are traces of blood everywhere. Some of these men must have been attacked in their sleep by beasts. Most of the weapons are missing. Our soldiers wouldn't have taken a rest without defenses. Our soldiers were attacked by surprise, and there were animals among the assailants. However, our men reacted properly. They were armed and they fled as best they could. There are no bodies, and no sign of Constantine or Catasac's presence here. Perhaps they were in another place, and the soldiers wanted to join them. We need to follow the tracks. This area has been trampled. An entire stampede passed by here. Our soldiers must have fled the zone and taken this path followed by their assailants. This is a sacred place of a native cult. No doubt this is where Catasac and Constantine were going. There are bodies, and without a doubt there was fighting here. Search the place. Let's see what we are able to find. This blade is a native ritual knife, and this bowl contained a potion. Someone wanted to perform a ritual here. Could Catasac have found a better means to alleviate Constantine's symptoms? The corpses of both men and beasts. These soldiers fought dearly until the end. Neither Constantine nor Catasac are among them. A crater, without a doubt caused by an explosive potion. The soldiers might have been carrying them. They must have been desperate to have taken such drastic measures. Constantine and Catasac must have been visiting this place. Perhaps performing some sort of healing ritual. When the attack took place, the soldiers intervened, and many fell during the fight. But a group was able to escape down this path. We need to continue following their tracks. More tracks. Footprints. They must have fled this way. Strange. These trees look half calcinated, as if they were exposed to immense heat. These weapons are in terrible condition. Whatever did these men come up against? Another burnt tree. This path seems to have been scorched in flames.
Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
These poor soldiers were torn to pieces. Animals again? Or something else? More signs of an explosion. I can't believe that our soldiers could be carrying so many explosive potions. New footprints. It looks as if a group met up with them and took this path. There was more fighting over here. There are not only the corpses of our own men, But where could these other soldiers have come from?
These are coin guard. But I couldn't tell you if they served the Bridge Alliance or Telemen.
More signs of explosions. But what were they doing with all these explosives on them? There are footprints. Only a handful made it up to here. The path stops on this overhang, and despite signs of a skirmish, I can't see any sign of Constantine or Katasach.
To get dicey!
These rocks were broken, as if they had taken cannon fire. What could have happened here? I recognize this sack. It's my cousin's. Oh, Constantine, what have you gotten yourself into again? I don't recognize these men. Still more unknown soldiers. Could they have been responsible for the attack? This one is carrying a letter. Let's see. According to this note, this troop came from an outpost of the Bridge Alliance close by. A patrol, no doubt. Could the bridge in some way be linked to this attack? That makes no sense. These vials look familiar. Katasach used the very same to stock his potions. He must have come here. I'm going to pick them up. Very well. Let's sum things up. Constantine and Katasach definitely came through here to perform some sort of ritual, but they were attacked. An attack obviously involving wild animals. And then there are these traces of inexplicable flames. Could it be magic?
No colonist understands how to control the fauna of this island. Whereas for the native wise men...
You believe Katasach could have orchestrated this attack?
Who else? You know all too well that with your cousin a hostage, you would be obliged to cede to the demands of the natives.
He would then have only accepted to treat him in order to gain his trust. I don't know. But regardless of who is guilty, I must find my cousin. We could return to Wen Xavier to learn more. Perhaps Katasach returned there. Or maybe his Voglendai could tell us where to find him. We are also going to have to visit the outpost. Their soldiers were involved in the combat, or at least the end of it. They must have some stories for us.
I doubt that the Alliance would have decided to openly attack their ally. Don't forget that they owe their continued presence on the island to you.
And thanks to you, I know. But their men were there, on the cliff. And Constantine is no longer among us. Maybe those men are still loyal to the preceding commander. However, one way or another, Constantine is in danger. Let us be on our way without further delay.
colonials. You must have gotten lost to have come this far from nowhere. To whom do I owe the honor?
Desardet. I am legate of the Congregation of Merchants on this island.
A legate? Here? Pardon my dismay, but we don't get many official sorts around here. Captain Idris. I am the ranking officer in charge of this Bridge Alliance outpost. What can I do for you, sir?
I'm looking for Constantin d'Orsay, the island governor of the Congregation of Merchants.
A governor? Here? Whatever would he be doing in this rattle?
My cousin was part of an expedition in this region. His men and his camp were attacked. They nearly all died. But we found no trace of his body, which has us hoping that he may still be alive. Wounded and holding up somewhere, or even captured.
Have you cast your suspicions in our direction? I hope this is a joke. We've had neither reinforcements nor supplies for weeks. In my book, we've been totally forgotten. I wouldn't risk the few lives remaining to attack a governor's camp. I'm not crazy. I'm truly sorry for your cousin, Excellency, but we haven't seen him. And we definitely haven't kidnapped him. The region is dangerous. The natives are heartless. You should be looking in their direction.
You do know that we found the bodies of several men from the garrison up there, don't you?
How could you be sure?
One of them was carrying a note, signed by your hand.
Then they are dead. I had hoped they'd have survived and would eventually return.
Explain yourself, Captain. What were your men doing on the clifftop?
They were monitoring the zone. They were to warn us of any troop movements. We have lost too many men to surprise attacks. We decided to take initiative and be ready. Yesterday, we heard screams and saw some strange lights up there. But I was hoping...
And you didn't go and see for yourself? You hear screams, certainly those of your own men, and you don't do anything.
So the last of my men give up their lives for nothing as well? You can think of me as a coward if you like. But me, I'm taking no more unnecessary risks.
Why do I have the feeling that you're holding something back from me?
Captain, my name is Afra. You might remember me. I passed by this outpost with my fellow scholars.
The Lost Expedition? Yes, I remember.
His Excellency was able to extract us from the situation we found ourselves in.
His Excellency has powers that I do not possess.
I'm casting no stones at you. You are isolated and without resources, and understandably a bit angry. You have the feeling that the powerful of this world have abandoned you, and you want to make them pay. But a life hangs in the balance. We must save him.
You were right. I will tell you everything I know. One of the men I'd posted there returned during the night.
A survivor? Excellent. Did he tell you what happened?
He wasn't able to say a word. He collapsed unconscious 2 steps past the doorway. Our nurse sits with him, but there is little hope that he will come back to himself. His wounds are extremely serious. He's just refusing to die.
I'm sorry to hear that, Captain. Perhaps we could do something for him.
Go and see the nurse. Perhaps you can do something to help the poor boy. I can't take it anymore. To lose another man. Anything else?
Concerning the young man that survived.
Did you see the nurse?
Not yet.
Really? I thought that your cousin's life hung in the balance. This boy will not survive long if someone doesn't help him. Anything else?
I need to be going.
I would very much like to do the same. Safe journey, Your Excellency.
What are you doing there? This is an infirmary!
I know. I've come to see the wounded soldier. The captain told me you might need my help.
That is very kind of him. But alas, it's a little late.
What are you saying? Is the soldier...
No, he still lives. But I've been asking the captain for weeks to escort me on a mission to replenish my stocks. I no longer have a single remedy. And now that we have a wounded patient, I can only wipe water on his brow and hope.
Do you know what type of remedy would allow him to survive?
Yes, at least I think so. It's a known potion that heals burns.
I see. Give me the recipe. We'll go and see that it's prepared for you.
Thank you. Because of you, this poor boy might be able to survive his wounds. Were you able to concoct the potion against burns?
Yes, I was. Might we administer it?
Give it to me. I'll take care of this. There. We must wait and be patient now.
Will he make it?
I hope so. We'll know soon enough. This potion is extremely potent.
And if he survives, when could we speak to him?
Come back tomorrow at the same time. We'll know more then.
Very well. I'll come back tomorrow.
See you soon. And thank you again for your help.
Hello, soldier. How are you doing?
Better. A lot better. Are you the one who saved me? The nurse told me.
I simply prepared the potion that she told me how to make. Nothing more. Could you tell me what happened during the attack?
I will try. They're not really memories I'm fond to bring back. A lot of my friends died up there. We were posted up on the peak to follow rebel movement. It had been a couple of days when we heard sounds of fighting not far from our position. Men were screaming. In our own language. So we went to see what was happening. Soldiers of the Coin Guard and an islander were trying to protect a young man. He seemed dire ill.
Constantine Katasak and his escort. Who were they fighting against?
Dozens of wild animals. They seemed completely enraged and intent on devouring them. And there were flames.
Flames? Where were they coming from?
I don't know. My friends and other soldiers fell one after the other. I didn't see everything. All was blood and confusion with beasts and fire. But I thought I saw another islander. Big. He's the one who took the sickened man. There was practically no one left on the battlefield. I was wounded and I passed out. I came to when I heard voices of islanders approaching the rebels. I thought to myself, they're coming to finish off the wounded. I got up with difficulty and fled. I dragged myself here. And you know the rest.
I'm going to have to go and find these rebels.
You shouldn't do that. They killed all of my friends. You take a great risk.
That's enough. Rest now. You're still far from having recovered.
Yes, it's best I leave now. I've learned enough. I'll have a word with your captain. Goodbye.
Excellency. I was told that you saved my soldier. Thank you. You can't imagine what this means to us.
Please. I did nothing more than follow the instructions your nurse gave me.
Did you learn what you needed to learn?
Yes. I was able to question your man and he told me what he saw. He and his company heard sounds of the attack, and they went to investigate. My cousin's escort were already nearly annihilated by animals that jumped out from all sides. A strange sorcerer controlled them. It was he that took my cousin.
One of those rebel savages, no doubt. I knew that they'd be behind all of this. They must have learned that an important man was in the region and thought he would make the perfect hostage. I'm sorry. I would give you some men, but...
Don't apologize. I know where the camp can be found, and if my cousin is there, I will free him.
Like you freed the scholars. You're a good man, Excellency. Thank you again for saving my soldier.
I need to be going.
I would very much like to do the same. Safe journey, Your Excellency.
Hello.
Renaigse, there you are again. What do you want?
To speak to you about my cousin's capture and the massacre of his escort. A soldier from the nearby outpost survived and told us that you were present on the battlefield. I know that you see us as your enemies, but we are not here to harm you. I only seek to find the man I consider to be my brother, as well as the man who is protecting him. Katisach, one of your greatest Donegada.
No Donea Exregal would attack Katasach.
If you didn't attack him, you must know what happened to them. I was told that an islander took my cousin away. Perhaps your men were there to aid them.
We do not have your cousin, and we do not know what happened to him. As for Katasach, and the Vorst Tire, he died from his wounds. That night, we heard the sounds of a terrible combat. The ground shook all the way to our homes. We went to see, but we arrived too late. The last breath of Katasach had returned to the wind when we arrived there, and many of the Renaigse were dead. We could do no more. We carried the body of the Donegad and brought it here.
He gave his life to protect Constantine. May he rest in peace. This request might surprise you, but we would like to see him.
Why? What do you want to do with him, Renaigse?
Examine him to understand what killed him. We were told that an island native was there and that he likely led the attack.
No Donea Exregal would attack Katasach. You have been lied to, or they were mistaken.
That is the very reason I need to see his body. To understand.
You may see him. But if you desecrate his body, you will pay for this offense with your life.
Katisach. Seeing the state of his body, I hate myself for having suspected him. Forgive me, Donegad, to have doubted your loyalty and even more for what we are about to do. Now then, let's see what story this corpse has to tell. The corpse retains the marks of a bludgeoning. There are large bruises all over it. I can see no wounds that could be attributed to a blade or a musket shot. The major wound is found on the chest, which was crushed by something tremendous, to the degree that the skin was torn. The ribs are in pieces and the organs punctured. The edges of the wound are singed. and smell of burnt flesh. There is a powdery spot on this wound, as if from ash or dusty gravel. Catasach bore the brunt of this attack or incredible force. I would venture to say it was inhuman. I can only imagine one thing that could have inflicted such a wound. It's as if an enormous, burning stone hit him right in the center of the chest. And seeing as how the bodies of the soldiers we found were sporting wounds of a similar nature, we can deduce that we're on the tracks of a man, or a creature, capable of using molten rock as a weapon. We still don't really know who is actually behind this attack, nor what they want. Judging by the severity of these wounds, I fear the worst for Constantine.
All your experiments. You've learned so little. You've learned to fear. Your instincts should have been enough.
We had to at least try. Are you not even concerned or angered by what happened to Catasach?
We've grown accustomed to the loss of lives, your relentless attacks and incessant treacheries. All the same, there is truth in your words. This attack is out of place. Guardian and Donegad would never attack one another. There is a ritual that might help us. Anatalas Fair.
The Anatalas Fair? What is it? Tell me more.
It is a magical rite that only a person with a powerful bond to both spirits and nature can perform. It allows the Donegad who chants it to relive the last moments of an Onol Manawi.
That would allow us to at least see the face of his assassin.
If what I have heard is true, yes. To my knowledge, only one Donegad still living knows the ritual.
Let's ask her for her help then. She might be able to tell us what has become of Constantine.
You are quick to ask another to put her mind in danger for your own concerns. Imagine the pain of the wounds of another, shaking your body as the cold of death crushes your beating heart. This is what you must ask of the Tiernahach. It is the price she must pay for performing the ritual. When her companion was lost in battle, fighting against your own, she wanted to live that death beside her. Since that day, our Tiernahach Kadachtas has never breathed air with the same breath.
That would explain her distrust of the colonials.
You must make her see your purpose. It may be the only way you are going to learn the fate of your cousin.
Hello, Mev.
Renoixe, why have you come here again?
I've come to ask you for help.
My help? You still seek the remedy for the sickness on your island? Or are you looking for something else?
My cousin has been taken, and I've been told that you could help me.
Truly? And in what way?
By performing the Anatalas Fair on the body of Catasach, the Donegad.
Catasach is dead. Under Voshtire. This is a great tragedy. He was a good man. Perhaps the best of us all. How did this happen?
He went with my cousin to a sacred site when they were attacked. My cousin has disappeared, taken, according to a witness. And Catasach suffered terrible wounds. We examined him, and it seemed as if he had been struck by molten rock.
Fire of the earth? Only the Nadaig Manemen have the power to wield it. But none of our own would have attacked Katasach.
This is why we need your help. We want to understand and to find who's responsible.
And you will avenge the dead as you have avenged my wound in the past. Very well, Renoixi. I will help you. And I also wish to gain understanding. Our island wails in suffering. Many Sinol Menawi have died. The Anatalas Fair may kill me, but at least I will know. You will need to act as my Voglendaig, and bring to me the necessary ingredients while I prepare.
What do you require?
A potion. And listen and remember, or write in your language what I shall tell you. Do not forget, the viscera of the scavengers must be taken from a place near the battlefield, because they contain the flesh of those who fell. As for the personal object of Katasach, find his weapon, because it knew his fury and his despair.
He didn't have a weapon when I found his body. I'll search the battlefield.
Where can I find him?
In Duren's camp. She recovered him after the battle.
Very well. Not far from there is a sacred circle. You'll find me there when you have united all that I need. Then we can perform the ritual when the moon is high.
In that case, let's go together to the ritual site. The place of the attack is not far from Duren's camp.
Very well. I'll follow you.
I recognize this weapon. It's Catasach's, I'm certain. It must have been broken during the battle. Let's take it back to Mev.
Fiery flasks, you'll find the quintessence of alchemy. The best potions and the most efficient concoctions. All of Alsad's talent put into bottles.
Greetings.
I was honored by your visit. Please, come back whenever you want.
Were you able to find the elements I need for the ritual?
Yes. Here is what you asked me to bring.
This is good. The moon is high. We may start. Take your place. Catasach, we have come to learn the truth of your death. Ato alcom frangawi brandi, olehana memen adestame haman. Daravridenan tahanemo quate grenfem, linqui damda renaute da hodox. Lemat, de tahawan kloisam, de talugedon velam, de taragam buledam, de tatamenam reloidan, adotalamen contebedam, en antelam verfractandom.
Catasach! Help me! Please!
Show no fear. I do not think he means you any harm.
What is this? This monster? Why is it attacking us?
I don't know. I don't understand. It is as if it seeks you out. It wants you.
You never should have done that, Catasach. To save one, Renaikse, you put us all in great peril. His spirit is different. He receives badly. You have woven the bond of the Deathbringer.
What is happening to you? Get a hold of yourself. Come on!
I cannot believe it. He has returned.
Who has?
Finbar. The High King. We thought he was dead. He disappeared months ago.
Is he the attacker? And what of Constantine? Have you seen a young, blonde-haired man? He was sickly.
Yes. The golden-haired was there. And he was afraid. Catasach protected him before he was killed by Finbar. Leave me now. I am very tired.
How are you feeling?
Better. What are you going to do now?
If I want to have any hope of finding Constantine, I must follow Vinbar. I have no choice.
Do you know where to look for him? Vinbar has been missing for moons.
The kings and queens could tell me when they saw him for the last time.
Then you must earn their trust. Arm yourself with patience and courage on Almanawi. Your journey is still long.
Thank you, Mev. You have helped us greatly.
Do not thank me. I have not done this for you, but for Catasach. In order to satisfy my curiosity, I betrayed my king. You will find him and confront him, no doubt. All that remains for me to do is to pray that I have done nothing that cannot be fixed.
Farewell.